Alright, so with this review, we are officially halfway through the Pick 10 90s series that I'm doing here. So, we are at the Brady Bunch movie. If you don't know why I keep saying Brady Bunch, the Amanda Show. They had this thing called Black Blister, where basically these two teenagers, they make up movies, and one of their movies was called The Brady Bunch. So, I call it Brady Bunch. The Brady Bunch movie. So I grew up with the Brady Bunch. Played on Nick at Night. And then Nickelodeon, I think around this time, they started playing it during the day along with the Wonder Years. There's a couple of the Nick at Night shows they played during the day. I guess, I can see the Brady Bunch. It's a little more family oriented. You could put it during the day. Wonder Years, I don't know, I guess the little kid is a protagonist. So, yeah, so I was big into Brady Bunch. And I'm going to say this. My mom will deny this, but we went to see this in the movie theater when it came out. I know it did. I remember vividly going to the movie theater to see this movie when it came out because I wanted to see it. Now, the rating for this movie always confuses me. PG-13. What's the reason that they give for it? For racy innuendos. Watching this back again, there are a lot of innuendos. There are a lot of innuendos in this. So I made a claim that this could be probably one of, if not the best, TV to movie adaptation. And what I mean by that, why I say that, is because it doesn't really alter the show. Like, you want to take adaptations of movies and put it into modern times, you adapt to it. You change things, how they look, how they act, somewhat. Take the Dukes of Hazzard one, right? It's not the 70s or early 80s anymore, so they adapt it to the 2000s. They talk differently, they act a little bit differently, they dress. Bo has a beard, very 2000s look, right? So, yeah. But this doesn't alter the characters at all. It takes the Bradys with their 70s language, attitude, clothing, and overall style and threw it into the 90s. Like, everything about them, their clothes, their house, their attitude, their hair, everything is the Brady Bunch. And they don't change it. Whereas sometimes, you change, like, Rob Zombie's doing a remake, a Monsters reboot. I doubt that's going to look anything like the TV show. Because it's Rob Zombie, and Herman Munster will probably have a beard and long hair. Because it's Rob Zombie. So, yeah, this took the Brady Bunch and just plopped them into the 90s as they were. So the way they act, the way they talk, everything is Brady Bunch. I mean, you got Greg Brady hitting on girls by saying, "Hey there, I think you're groovy. And, I think you're out there in a groovy sort of way," or something like that. Yeah. And so it works. And they're like oblivious to everything around them. They just take it, certain things that happen, and I like it. And like the biggest thing about this being like one of the best adaptations, it knows what it is. It's very aware. It's self-aware. It knows what it is. It makes fun of itself and it revels in that fact. And that's why it works. Like, you have Gary Cole as the dad, Mr. Brady, Mike Brady, spitting out these nonsense speeches like the dad from Brady Bunch would spell out, but they don't make any sense. Like, what towards the end where he's like, "Well, just because we don't live in this home, as long as we're together, we are a home." And I'm just like, that makes no sense. And it gets to the point where he keeps spilling on, and they think that's it. The mom was about to agree with him. She's like, and then he keeps going, and she's like, "Your father's right." Like, it takes stuff from the TV show, such as Greg wanting to be Johnny Bravo and be a rock star, Marsha trying to get and trying to write the songs, Marsha trying to get Davy Jones to go to be, at the dance. Marsha getting hit in the face with the football, which of course was going to be in there because, of course, Jan getting jealous of Marsha, which is in most of the episodes. Alice and Sam having a relationship. There's, a lot of stuff taken from the show and just put in here, and that's adapting. That's an adaptation. It works. And I like the beginning of this film a lot, rewatching this. You have Michael McKean, he plays their, he's their neighbor, and he's sort of the villain, Dittmeyer. He's on the phone, and he's talking to someone like his boss or something. He's like, oh, you got he's talking about selling all the houses on the block. You got everyone to sell. He goes, well, not all of them. There's one family that just won't move. It doesn't matter what you say, they just won't move. And the guy goes, well, what is their story? And then, right as soon as he says, what's their story? Dun, 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 dun. Here's the story of a lovely lady. A perfect segue into the opening thing. You get the Brady Bunch thing. It works. It does. And I like that it's self-aware, but it doesn't go overboard. Like, it has that kind of... It's that kind of like a self-parody, but it doesn't go too much over into parody, where if they put this in like a one of those Seltzerberg parody movies, they would parody the real life of the dad. Like the guy who played Mike Brady, he was gay in real life, and so they would put that in there, but they don't do that. They have a little lesbian thing with Noreen, who likes Marsha, and they kind of play that. They don't overdo it. Like, you can see she has eyes for it, and there's a scene where they're sharing a bed, and she's like, Noreen, is that you? She goes, oh, it's just my leg. It's a leg. RuPaul is the counselor for Jan, and I know they return in the second one. I think what this one does better than the second one is that this one was the first to do something like this. The second one was copying it, and they say, we're just going to do the same thing. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. Because this should be like a little time capsule. Like, this should have been the only Brady Bunch movie. They made a sequel. They somehow made another a TV movie version that only brought back Gary Cole and Shelley Long, which they're fantastic in their roles, by the way, in this. I've never seen the TV one. I do know the Blue Ranger from Power Rangers Turbo is Peter. That's another one of the things. Peter's puberty. They don't sing Time to Change, though. They sing keep on dancing on through the night. We're gonna keep on doing it right. We're gonna keep on. Okay. Yeah. And Davy Jones. He's in this movie twice. He shows up for the dance, and he sings the song he sang on the show, Thank you, girl, for making the music. Stuff, that song. But they do like a 90's grunge rock version, which is really cool. And what I love about this performance is that Davy Jones puts in this performance like he's not sure of what's going on, because he's playing it like, even though he's Davy Jones and he's well known, he's also part of this 90's group. He's not like the Brady Bunch. Brady Bunch is the only ones that are kind of in this little tight thing. So, as but he's used to a certain sound for his song. So when they play this version with the rock and the grunge, it's very different. And I do like how none of the kids really know who he is, but the female teachers flock to him. I'm like, yeah, that would happen because they know who Davy Jones is, and the kids don't. Somehow Marsha does, but the kids don't, and it's funny. Eric, Dittmeyer's son, he looks too old to be in high school. He's got long hair and a beard. I think it's supposed to represent the grunge age, as 95 was really in that time frame. So, it works, but I don't believe he's in high school. I know they get older people to play high schoolers, but he couldn't shave off. I think he was in Event Horizon before this movie, so that's even really weird. Weirder. And there's even cameos from cast members from Brady Bunch, the original show. You have Peter, Christopher Knight, he plays the coach. Barry Williams, Greg, he plays the record producer guy. Florence Henderson, the mom, the original Carol Brady, she plays the grandma, which I thought was kind of cool. And Alice, the original Alice, she plays a trucker named Shotzi, who is the one who talks Jan into going back. She reminisces about, I had a family, but I always thought I'd be treated like the maid, and I never had I always wanted to have, a big family, 3 boys, 3 girls, but I probably would have been treated like the maid, and kind of calls back it. And then she said she's a middle child, and I'm like, I like that it's Alice, but what if they actually got Eve Plum, who was the original Jan, to come back and play this role? It kind of would have made sense. Oh, I was a middle child and I had problems, But Alice is still good, and it's great to see her in there. Alice is always one of my favorite characters on TV shows, so it's really cool to see her. I've been praising this movie, but if I have to point out a negative, it seems like this movie takes too long. And it's not that long. It's not even an hour and a half. It's 88 minutes. It's barely an hour and a half. But it just seems like this happens, and then this happens, and then this happens. Like, you have Dittmeyer's scheme to try to get them to sell the house. They don't want to sell it, so what's he going to do? So the kids are worried, what are we going to do? We have to help them. But then the dad sells a design, so you have that solved. And then they're going to go to Sears, and they do a musical number. That actually makes no sense, but they do a musical number. I did like this scene, though, because they have the TV screen set up, and each of them is on a TV screen, and they're in the same place as the Brady Bunch intro, which I thought was cool. It scares Dittmeyer. And but yeah, it just seems to go on, because you have the dance. I always thought the dance was at the end of the movie, but the dance is in the middle of the movie. You have the dance, and then after that we cut to, how are we gonna help save the house? I'm like, yeah, that. And then I sold the design. We don't need to. $20,000 I sold it. I'm like, okay, problem solved. Movie's over. No, because Dittmeyer goes to the guy who is the Asian professor from Boy Meets World, who goes, he's been in a lot of things. But, and he convinces them not to buy it because it destroyed an old folk home. A previous design was used for an old folks home, and it destroyed the old folks home. There wasn't enough structural integrity, I guess. And so he doesn't sell it. So now they have money. Okay. So obviously we're going to do we're going to go and sing a song thing. But first, Jan has to run away. Okay, what? And then we do we're going to sing and save the day. And they do, and they win only because the monkeys, that being Davy Jones, Peter Tork, and Mickey Dolenz, are the judges. So I thought it was funny. And they arrive just in time to tell them we're not selling our house. And, the auction is over. There's no auction because there was an auction, apparently. And then you have Uncle Phil, You know, from this is like, you got Uncle Phil from Fresh Prince and Mr. Dewey from Saved by the Bell, both there, which I thought was funny. And then he's like, "Oh well, we're gonna make all that money. They're not gonna sell it. We're gonna make all that money from Soon Ditmeyer's ass." I laughed at it. Uncle Phil, you know, another great actor from sitcoms. I loved it. And that's it. It ends with one of the weirdest ending. Like, it's, you know, the end of each episode would see them in the dun looking up in the thing. But this is where they kind of go over. It's another negative for me. Like they have the friend Noreen come back and try to make out with Marsha, but then Marsha invades Jan's thing. While Marsha's still up here, and like the mom is in the middle square, is in the square thing, and Alice is taking off her top, but she's in her bra, and it's all really, the teacher's making out with Greg. I don't know. It's all really weird. That's another thing that was kind of weird, is that there's this teacher and she wants to make up with Greg. Now, Greg is the older brother, so it's more close to her age frame, especially since she's played by someone who's in his 20s. I mean, it was Christopher Daniel Barnes, the voice of Eric from Little Mermaid and Spider-Man from the Spider-Man animated series. But Peter was under the age of 18, so I don't know. And Bobby wants to be a cop, apparently. Was that ever in the series? I don't remember that. But, yeah, the little anything is not really necessary. But, yeah, because also, they win the money, and then he's like, okay, so they're going to get there. No, because they have... Ditweiler has his son, like... mess up their car, but they still get there in time because of the police. So, I don't know. The police don't stay, because I think if they did stay, Ditmeyer would be arrested, I think, for fraud or something. I don't know. But as it stands, I think this is one of the best TV to movie adaptations, because it knows what it is and it's not afraid to parody itself a little bit. So, with that in mind, I would say the Brady Bunch movie is a pretty good. So, what are your thoughts on the Brady Bunch movie? Let me know in the comments below. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Let me know in the comments below. Okay? I'm still trying to do a format where I don't say the whole thing, so... Okay, so, what was it? Blu-ray next? Okay. That's a Blu-ray. Let's do this one. The Fifth Element. Okay, this is a first time watch, so I have nothing to say about it now, other than Bruce Willis. So, thank you for watching. I've been Scotty, and I'll see you in the next one.